Hello everyone, welcome back to Tank Wars 3. I am your host Chromoid, and we have here another secondary bracket in round 3 for you today. On the left, we have Volken fielding 10 ACV B2s, these lovely little rapid fire, I think they fire heat and missiles. Uh, Combat tanks going up against the big box on wheels, and little stabbers by a nickel on the right side here. So I'm going to hopefully not nauseate you with that maneuver, get myself out of the way, and get this underway in 3, 2, 1, fight. Vulcan bringing back his entry from Tank Wars 2, new and improved, adding missiles, adding a bit more tankiness to each vehicle, and yeah, they're just going to do what ACVs are known to do, and that's rain, heat, and frags very, very fast into their opponents. I think they've got two firing lines, one at this big box and the other with the other big box. Big boxes are the Land Cruiser types for a nickel, and they are getting the business from the ACVs right now. There is a cram shell being lobbed at an ACV, catches it square in the turret, and that's going to be only superficial damage on this ACV. It loses some of its barrel armor and a chunk of the slopes protecting its front, but even though the cram basically caught the shell trap in the middle, it did not manage to pop that turret off, and now it is getting reamed. Look at that damage piling in from all the high velocity shells coming out of the ACVs. Already lost its gun. Oh, I spoke too soon. It did not lose its gun, just lost some of the barrels. Another shell is going to miss, just narrowly miss the top of that ACV. Losing the barrels has caused its accuracy to diminish, obviously. Missiles streaking into the little stabbers, so very effective use of fire there. The missiles are hitting the stabbers, while the rest of the shells are going into the larger tanks, like this big box on wheels up here. They seem to be ignoring the boxes on wheels. They're going after the Land Cruisers first. There's a heat shell catching the side of an ACV. Not enough to kill it. Definitely does some damage, but the gun seems very well protected, and that is not enough to pop the turret off either. Oh, some big shots coming in, though. Gun still firing. That hit underneath and did some superficial damage to the suspension, I think. But yeah, no, the ACVs are taking this damage quite well and dishing it out in return. Neither side has really taken critical damage yet. All the vehicles are still firing. All the vehicles are still rolling. It's just a matter of, you know, who is able to get those very telling shots. Who's able to pop turrets? Who's able to disable movement? Remove ammunition, anything like that. Start killing AI. That's what we're looking for here. We're going to go over to this side. It's basically 5 versus 3 on both sides here, or 5 versus 4. I think it's Nickel's got 4 tanks on his team. Yeah, it's 4 versus 8 versus 10. So it's 5 versus 4. Oh my goodness! An ACV just got flipped over. Not sure what caused that. If it turns that turret, it might be able to flip itself back over. Hopefully. Yep. There you go, ACV. Hey, look at that. Able to self-right as well. These are quite the little miracles, aren't they? Big Box has taken a break. It has gone behind some terrain to block most of the damage coming in. Having a cram, it is able to lob shells over the top of the hills at opponents while dodging the rather flat arcs that the ACVs use. That shell very narrowly missed that ACV. Both of the Land Cruisers just taking a little bit of a reprieve, getting behind some cover, reloading their guns, and taking stock of the situation. The ACVs are going to keep firing at them, so they're going to spend a lot of ammunition trying to hit things they can't actually reach because they don't like to move towards their opponent. Meanwhile, the boxes on wheels are continuing to put crams into their opponents while they're being ignored, and that went underneath the ACV. I'm not sure if that did any damage. I'm not sure where that was going. You see just the blossom of explosions all across the hills there. Boxes on wheels rolling in tight formation while the stabbers sit behind the ACVs, plunking away with their little guns. Not really doing much stabbing. They're just mostly just firing their guns. Pretty straightforward match. The ACVs do a great job of just holding a battle line, and so that means other vehicles tend to have less weird movement shenanigans against them because they don't move, so the AI can predict what it's supposed to do next a lot more accurately. These cram shells, they look deadly, but they're not doing a whole lot to the ACVs, at least not not to the critical parts. I mean, they're doing structural damage, obviously. I mean, look at that. That's pretty significant. But they're not getting to the juicy internals, and they haven't popped a turret, which has been the downfall of the ACVs in the past. Somehow getting turrets snapped off, which pretty much ruins their ability to do what they're doing now. What they do best is grouping their fire together. Individually, an ACV on its own is not the most deadly opponent. Yes, it can fire very fast, but what makes them actually hurt a lot is having 5 or 6 or even 10 of them shooting you all at once. And that's where you start getting this effect right here. Both the land cruisers have grouped up, gone side to side, and are just running down the middle, broadsiding as they go. The boxes on wheels are flanking around the back. Look at this concave that the ACVs have formed, and the land cruisers are just going straight down the middle of it. Oh, don't run over your little stabber friend there. Don't run him over. He's trying to maneuver. Stabber catches a couple of shots as it gets in front of the big box on wheels. Big boxes are doing a great job of handling this damage, though. I mean, yeah, it's hurting. It's hurting the skirts there a little bit, but they're only down to 92 and 91, and the rest are almost 100%. So yeah, an ACV's already lost its turret. Let me see if I can find it. Excuse me. Where is it? There's got to be one around here somewhere. There's one at 61%. I know that means somebody lost a turret. This one right here, I think. Hasn't lost a turret, no. Okay. Oh, it's this one. Yeah, this one lost its turret and is now down to 61%. That's probably due to one of the box on wheels getting a good shot into the turret ring and snapping it off. It's not weaponless, unlike the Tank Wars 2 variant. These do have missiles, so even if you take the turret out, it's still able to lob missiles at you, but the missiles aren't the most accurate. So, I don't know, we'll have to see. Some barrel pieces falling off of this ACV, so it's going to have more inaccuracy. Oh no, the ACV back here finally got knocked down below 55% or lost its AI, and it has been removed. So that's the first despawn of the match. This isn't looking good. Oh, there goes another turret. Finally, the big box on wheels finds what it's looking for and gets a turret shot. That looks like it went into the armor there and may have tunneled down underneath somewhere. Now that's going to be a dead ACV. That not only popped the turret, but got to the AI as well. Another ACV loses its turret, goes down to 61%. Is that AI dead? That's not AI dead. They're just... Okay, so it's not the turret pop that's killing them. It's that right there that's killing them. Oh, man. Yeah, it's not AI dead. It's just very, very still. Oh, well. Well, ACVs are starting to drop left and right. Like I said, they do good at concentrating their firepower, but unfortunately this opponent, unlike some others in the past that have faced ACVs, is just really well armored, and it's able to resist the damage that they can put out. And they were able to shoot these big box on wheels for a very long time, and the big box on wheels have just now hit 90% each. They're just not... They're not taking enough damage. They're not losing their guns. You see a little bit of damage. Okay, there's a little bit of damage in there now. They're starting to hit the cram internals, which is going to ruin this one's ability to shoot back. They've also ripped almost all the wheels off the side, on this side anyway. They haven't taken the detection. Look at that magnificent jump. That is glorious. I don't think that cram fired anything though. That cannon's been pretty much disabled. Okay, so that's one cannon down for a Ickle. Three cannons down for the ACVs. I think these box on wheels has got to be their next target. I really think they need to start leaving that gun alone. Now, I mean, I know the AI is not going to because it doesn't know the firing piece no longer works. As long as that firing piece is still in play with blocks attached to it, they'll continue shooting it. We do have some ACVs over here duking it out with remaining Ickle forces, though. We have 3 on the ground, 1 on the hill up here. It needs to get down there so it can actually help its teammates out. Probably scampered out of the way, trying to distance itself from the big box on wheels. They do like to hold a certain range from their opponent. That ACV over here, I think, might be shooting its teammate. No, it's not. Okay, yeah, that's right. Someone told me AI got an update recently where failsafes will actually hold fire if a teammate's in the way now. So all those jokes I made about friendly fire, oh no! I saw that shell go in there. I was like, is it going to do anything? And then it just detonated. I'm guessing that was either timed or pen depth. But yeah, that's another gun absolutely demolished off of a ACV. So they are rapidly losing their firepower, and that's not good. But yeah, failsafes will now hold fire if there's a friendly in the way, which is really nice. I did not know that. That must have been a really recent development. It's going to happen again, isn't it? Oh, that launches the ACV onto its side, knocking it over, stripping the front left track off of it. And I think that's pretty much going to be it. It's still firing, but it's lost any height advantage it had. We're watching ACVs getting decimated now. They still have their guns, but they're not doing enough damage. One big box is down to 85%. I mean, if that can be despawned and the ACVs can hold on to their hit points for a while longer, they could claw back into this, but I don't think they've got enough time. There's 3.5 minutes left, and another ACV just ate it over there. You see it despawning in the distance. I think that took a rather meaty hit from the cramshell of the big box that was sitting over there. This ACV missing the majority of its hull and its turret. This one completely missing its turret. Yeah, they finally took enough structural damage. Much better defended than the last variant of ACV. Last variant could get its turret popped off relatively quickly. These certainly do not, but I mean, one can only tank so many cramshells before something critical gets hurt. And in this case, yeah, the rapid fire guns, very good, but not enough alpha to pierce through the armor on some of these larger tanks that they were shooting at, and that's just gonna, I think that's gonna be the end of it for Volken here. Unfortunately, this is secondary brackets, so this means that his ACVs will be probably not continuing in this tournament unless they can pull out an upset right here and now. They do have both the land cruisers pinned. They've run into each other. They're getting shredded by missiles. They're getting shredded by the remaining ACV guns. The ACVs know this is it. They have to do it now. They have to kill these two tanks right here now. If they can kill this, that's 100,000 materials gone from a Ickle's team, and that could be the difference between passing and being eliminated. Oh, that that cramshell not only took out most of the ACV, but knocked it over. These HE shots are brutal nowadays. HE really does a lot more physics impulse on a large blast radius, which means that Cram HE now really does fling light vehicles pretty hard. Oh man, that shot went right into the shell trap underneath the turret, and I think that's going to be a dead ACV. I think no, the turret. I think the turret's still alive. Actually, wow, that's impressive. The gun's not. You can see it's not firing anymore, which is really unfortunate. You've only got. I think we've only got two functioning guns left. There's one over here, and one to my right. Yeah, the one that got flipped over, and that means its underside and left side is exposed to the stabber over here. Another ACV despawns on the right there. Yeah, this is over. This has got to be over. There's no way they're going to kill these land cruisers in time. They have not had the DPS for it this entire time, and I mean the missiles are a nice touch, but land cruisers were just way too well armored, and because they ignored all the other vehicles on the field, yeah, they had time to do this. Soften them up, and the big boxes finally started getting shells to connect as well. Oh man, look at that. Lifted in the air, so the other two cram shells actually missed. Oh man. Got to give credit where credit is due. The ACVs themselves are also very, very tough. I mean, I've kind of already said that, but yeah. The ACVs are very tough tanks. I think if they had slightly higher alpha, they could probably do a lot better. I'm just guessing. Given that you can't repair in this tournament, unlike in Tank Wars 2 where you could, consistent damage is not as valuable in this instance as high alpha. When you have a big, meaty, well-armored target, you actually need something that crushes that armor very quickly, or you're going to end up wasting a lot of ammunition, a lot of shots trying to kill it. And the longer you take, the more the more time your opponent has to do the same to you. And when you have a bunch like 10 small or 10 evenly valued tanks here, I think these are 30,000 each exactly, which is the maximum you can have for a tank. Every single loss is basically a tenth of your total team's hit points being eliminated. So you're really, when you're facing uneven groups like this with some big vehicles surrounded by a bunch of smaller vehicles, you need to be able to either kill off the small vehicles very fast or do significant damage to where the big vehicles are either immobilized or their guns are disabled or something along that effect. At least that's my theory. I certainly wouldn't know. I haven't tested it. But that's what I've seen. People who have high alphas to deal with meaty vehicles like the big box on wheels tend to have a better chance than those who don't. or at least have a high alpha option, because you can bring different vehicles to each fight if you want. Oh no. Yeah, that double cram shot from the front and the side has, I think, pretty much spelled the doom for this last ACV. Not the last ACV, second to last ACV. The last one's over here waiting for its doom, as it no longer has any functioning weapons. I think that gantry might be disabled too. I'm not sure. Oh wow, that first shot knocked it away from the second two, which almost certainly would have finished it. But that's going to be it. And Ickle has very decisively won his next secondary bracket match, and will be continuing on in the tournament. And Volken, this is where the ACVs stop, I'm afraid. So thank you both for participating. Thank you all for watching. I have been Chromoid, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.